what about the parameters? Okay, so like here, we are just printing the text Wi-Fi. And what if I want to change that text to something that we are providing, that we are informing? So I want to change that text like we do with the print line. So every time that I provide something right here between the parentheses, I am telling to the print line method to print that text that I provided, that I informed. Okay, so actually these two texts right here, they are parameters for the method print line, and we also can do that. Okay, so I'm going to create another method that's going to be the print line. I will not anymore need this. And we are going to call the print line with the text Wi-Fi. And then learning Java. And then welcome to GodeGym. Okay, so here we are providing different text to our method to be printed. So the parameter that we are providing, it is a string. And right here, we are going to declare a variable to be associated with these values that are being uh, informed. So here I can actually name this variable in like whatever I want, and I'm going to just call text. Okay, so the type it is string, so I cannot do uh, print line one because one is an int number, and I am expecting right here and it's a string, not an int. And I also cannot pass like here true, okay? Because the true, it is a Boolean value, and I am just waiting for strings. Okay, and what I am going to do with this text, I'm going to print it. Okay, so now I have the system out print line with the text that I received as parameter. Okay, so let's take a look on this. Running, and that's it. I have here the Wi-Fi learning Java. Welcome to GodeGym, as I just informed right here. Okay. So there's a question here. The parameter is always a variable. Then you assign a value in the main method. Um, it will not always be on the main method, but the parameter, yes, is always a variable that is being assigned when we call the method. Okay, so here we have the method calling, and for just a coincidence, it's on the main method. It could be in wherever we place that. So we have the print line being called, and this value right here between the parentheses on the call, it will be assigned to this variable here. Okay, I'm going to just collapse that so we can see everything together. Okay, so right here we have the method call, and this value here is going to be assigned to the variable defined right here on the method. Okay, And this first line right here is what we call method signature. Okay, and it is composed by the name of the method and the parameter type. So the method name and the parameter type, they compose the method signature. Okay, we are going to talk about this later today when we talk about the method overload. Okay, then. Uh, so let's back here. Parameters are special comma-separated variables within a method. With their help, you can pass various values to the method when it is called. So right here we have another signature for the print lines that it is actually string text and then an int count. So how many times we are going to print that text provides. Okay, so we are going to also do that. So uh, right here, the public line. So do you remember what we said about it needs to be unique? So I cannot just repeat like this, okay? But uh, the name itself, it don't need to be unique, but the method signature. So right here, the method signature of those two methods, they are the same since we have the same name and the same data type for the parameter. Okay, so again, method signature, it is the method name plus the parameters types. Okay, all right, so what we are going to do is to change the parameter type. So we are going to add int count. Okay, so now we have the print line, but this print line right here, the first one on line 22, it receives just one parameter, and the type of that parameter, it is string. It doesn't matter about the name of the variable, okay? But what it is really important, it is the type, string text. And right here below, we have the same method name, but we have two parameter types. So because of that, we have another method, okay? And what we're going to do, it is a for loop. We're going to define a for loop. So less than count and I plus plus. And instead of repeat the S out or the system out print line, what we're going to do is to call our print line method with the text. Okay, so now what we are doing is that our print line method that it is to repeat is calling our print line method, our previous and simplest print line method. Okay, so this print line is being called right here on the main method, but also from another custom method. So let's going to see this working. So now we have the print line, we have two options right here. Okay, I'm going to choose this next one, this newer method, Java, and then 3 times. Okay. So right here we can see the highlight. The print line comes to here, and this other one comes to here. Okay. So let's going to run this. All right, so here we have the Wi-Fi learning Java right here. Wi-Fi learning Java, welcome to GodeGym. And then we have the Java 3 times. Okay, and I know this maybe it's being too much. It can be a little complex. So what I am going to do now is to define a breakpoint right here, and we are going to run this code in debug mode so we can see step by step what it is happening. Okay. So here we have the debug, the breakpoint right here on the first line. So print line, okay, it is calling a method. So we have been using all the time the step over to go to the next step. But now, since we are calling a method that it was defined by us, it is a custom method. So I recommend you to choose the uh, step into, which it is the key on your keyboard, the F7, the function 7. All right, so step into. Now we jump from the line 11 to the line 24, and we are inside of the print line. Okay, so now if I step over, we are going to see right here the text on the console. Okay, but we are on the line 25. If I hit the step over again, I will be sent back to the line 12. So we reach the line 11. We uh, we jumped from to the line 24, which has the body of the print line method. And when we finished executing the print line, we were sent back to the line 12. Okay, so again, step into right here. This is the text learning Java. If I step over and again, line 13. So every time that we call a method, we go to another, like a new branch to execute this code, and then we are sent back to where we were before. Okay. Again, I'm going to now do the step over because it's going to be the same on this last line. And now if I hit step into, we are sent to the new method, print line, and we are going to iterate on this loop 3 times, calling the print line, which it is this one right here. Okay, so we are on line 29, and if I hit step into, then 24, okay, step over, all right. Again, the print line, line 20, 29, step into, 24, over, okay, and so on. And that's it. This is the end of our program, of our application. Okay, so this is how works the method call. Okay, so the step into uh, I jump to inside that method. If I am calling the print line and I hit step into, I will be sent to the definition of the method. I'm going to be sent to inside the print line. If otherwise I choose the step over, I will uh, uh, I will stay on the same method and I am just going to the next line on the same method. Step into, I go to inside the method. Step over, I stay on the same method and I just advance to the next line. Okay? So again, let's see the difference. I'm going to debug. I would always choose here. I'm going to choose all the time the step over and let's see how it works. So step over, step over, step over, and this is the end. Okay? So we were all the time right here on the main method without seeing anything that it is inside of the print line methods. But I'm going to run again. And now I'm going to choose the step into. Okay, so step into. I am seeing what it is defined on the print line method. Okay, and just to be really clear, what if I hit now the step into? I will be sent to inside of the print line um, on the print stream class. Okay, so step into. Oops, what happened? I'll not. Why not? Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, a little weird, but I needed to define a breakpoint on the class. Okay. So now I am on the print string, the print line method that receives a string, and then we can keep going forward and forward. Uh, right here, I can do again the step into. Oh, now it is working. Okay. So I can see everything how the Java works internally. And this is really interesting to learn more about how the Java language works. Okay. All right. Okay, so back to our presentation. These are the method parameters. Okay. Um, and how works passing references to methods? And there's another question. How exactly does this breakpoint after each method written in help us debugging? Okay, so about the breakpoint, we talked about that on the lesson 5. Okay, how to debug, how to define the breakpoints, and how to debug code. Okay, and here how to pass references to methods. So some Java variables like string variables and array variables store not the values themselves, but instead a reference. that it is the address of the block of memory where the values are located. So when we studied about arrays and also about strings, we said that there are some types like the uh, int, long float, or the boolean that stores the value itself. But for strings and arrays, they don't store the value, but a reference to another address where they are stored. Okay, so it is what is being saying right here. So we have the an int array called A, and the initial address is F2. So right here on F2, starting on F2, we have all the values stored inside of our array. So we have 0 to 44 to all the values defined right here on the array. They are stored starting on F2, not actually on the B2. So the B2 only has the reference to the F2. Okay? So the address of the block of memory where the values are located. Such variables are called reference variables. When you assign a variable to another array variable, the two variables start to refer to the same space in memory. Okay, I know this sounds a little confusing, so let's go to the IntelliJ. So I'm going to actually create another class. So right click right here on the package, new Java class. Okay, again, the package, right click, new Java class, and I'm going to call it reference types. Okay, that's it right here, the main method. So what is being said that it is the we have value types and we have reference types. So here we have two int values. Okay, so let's take a look inside of the x and y variables. So right here, we said that x equals 5, okay, but then we changed x to 7. So we expect to see here the 7, okay. But here we said that y it is assigned with x. So what should we see right here? 7 or 5? So let's run that. And the result should be 5. Okay, so 7 for the first and 5 because they are value types. So when we assign here y to x, we are not actually like tying them, but we are copying the value inside of x, which it is 5. So here it is like y a sine of 5. Okay, so the value it is 5. All right, but what if it was arrays? There we have 0, 2, 42, 2, 44. Yeah, okay. And then we have oops, B, A, and then we change again the B. And let's say it is just 2. Actually, I think I cannot. Yeah, I need to add the new int. Okay. And we know from the last lesson that to print an array, we have the two string A and then B right here. Okay. So we have A and B. Actually, it is not that the correct example. Let me just rewind a little bit. So A0, it is now 9. Okay, that's it. Now it is correct. So here we have the array A, and then we change the first value, which it was 0, and we are changing to 9. So what we should see here, it is the not 0, but 9. And what about the B? It's going to be also changed to 9, or we are going to keep the original array 0, 2, 44, 2 like we had on the value type. So let's run this. So both of the variables changed. We have the exact same array. Okay, because right here we are not assigning the actual array of 0 to 44 and 2. We are assigning the reference or the memory address that A has inside. It is like our presentation right here. It is like the array A. It doesn't have the values 0 to 44 and 2, but has the address F2. And then we assign the F2 to the variable B. So when we change the values of this array, it is still in the same place. So we have the same reference F2, and we just change the value inside. Okay? So this is why we have the same array on both variables, because they are both pointing to they are both referencing to the same address in the memory that contains uh, these variables. It's like every single position here, it is one variable. Okay, so these are called reference types, and these are the value types. Okay, so it is not necessary to declare and assign this new for A. Okay, so right here, since we are using the fast initialization syntax, remember from the last lesson, the fast initialization syntax, we can omit the no int, okay? We can just omit that, we can just delete, and the Java compiler can understand. That other thing that I was writing right here, It was my mistake. I was going to show the wrong example. Okay, this is the correct one. Okay, so please ignore that other thing I was writing right here. Okay, so passing references to method. We saw also in the last lesson about a method that it was like arrays dot arrays dot field. Okay, and now we are going to write our own field. So here we have an array numbers that it is a new int of size 5, and we are going to define a method called field number with 7. Okay, so here we are going to write public static void field. It receives an array. It should be actually on plural because the best name for arrays are always to mean that we can store a lot of values. So it is always recommended to be on plural. I'm going to call array and impact. Okay. All right. So as we can see here, have an array. Okay. And we are going to fill that given array with the value provided. So the fill method iterates over every cell in the past two-dimensional array and assigns value to them. Here on the presentation, it is using an two-dimensional array, but I'm going uh, to keep I'm going to stay on the single dimension, on the one-dimensional array, okay, because it is simpler. And here, I like that array dot length and I plus plus. Okay, so I said on the beginning of the class that every time that we have a name followed by a parenthesis like this, we are calling methods like right here, fill, like on the print line, like on the toString, we are calling methods. So right here, the length on the array on that it is uh, present on every single array, it is a property. It is not a method because there is no parenthesis. Okay, there is no parenthesis. So the length it is a property, not uh, not a method. And now I have the array index I, and we are going to assign with x. All right. So I'm going to print twice here the numbers before the fill method and after the fill method. And let's go into see what it happens. Okay. Okay. And here is the array before the fill method. We have every single value on the array is 0. And after calling the fill, we have every single cell on the array has the value 7. Okay, so it was filled with 7, with the given value. All right. So we informed the array, and since it is a reference type, we are not uh, just changing the array specified right here on the parameter, but we are actually changing the original array that it was provided as parameter. Okay, and we can prove that the difference from the value types and the reference type, if I define a int x, it is 5. Oops, I cannot use x. Uh, int n, it is 5. And then if I define a method called increment, and if I print it before and after my increment method is going to be static void increment I, and I'm going to do I equals I plus 1. All right. So I just changed the value of I, that it is an int, but I am not going to change the actual value of n. So right here, I should see 5, and right here, I should see 5 again, not 6. Okay, so let's run that, and that's it, 5 and 5. Okay, because this is value type, and this is reference type. Okay. Okay, so about the two-dimensional array, it is like a matrix. Okay, it is like a spreadsheet. So right here, we have a representation of a two-dimensional array or a matrix. So every time that you want to represent two dimensions, like something on the plane, like the XY plane, um, or let's say something on mm, the score of a student in a test. So we have which test and which students and the given score. So every time that we have two dimensions, it is really useful to use this structure, the two dimension. Okay, but arrays are structures that demands a lot of of us programmers, and that are other structures that we are going to study on collections, that they are more uh, smart, and there is a lot of methods available there that we don't need to write too much to do the same thing. Okay, and we are going to study about collections on lesson 13. That is some knowledge that we need to develop until there. Okay, but arrays, it has their value, but most of the times we use collections to do that. But collections internally, they use arrays.